Hey viewers, so today we have a scooter that my niece used to drive and my sister wants to get it all souped up and ready to go for her to use. We're going to respray it and we're going to give it a really good servicing, get rid of any rust and make sure all the parts work. Let me take you through it. To get under the seat is relatively easy. We simply turn the key and lift that lid. We then need to take this unit off. The motor sitting underneath there. To get this off, we have a couple of screws to loosen. Two down the bottom here. One at the back. And these two over here. Open your petrol tank, take this cover off. It just pulls off. Before the tank will come off, there's a water pipe here. You may want to just get that off. Should just pull off like that. Once that pipe's off, this should all just lift up. Let's have a look and see what we need to do to get this all off. We'll start off with that cover there. Next we'll do the battery compartment cover. And then we'll move the foot area over here. Two more screws on here and one on the other side. You need to take this stuff off. So push that down, slip this off. That should get through there, okay. We need to get this off. Once that's off, we need to get the carrier off. Once the carrier is off, we'll be able to get the back end loose, front end loose. This whole piece should then just come away. 4 more screws that we need to do. There's 2 underneath here. Get that one off. And 2 on the other side. Perfect plastic bag. I've got the air filter bag that came off here. So we're going to put this all into here. That should make that relatively waterproof. You can see the headlight here, nice and clear, very yellow. So we're going to take you through cleaning that up as well. Removing the cover for the light. It's just a matter of taking this off. Putting these back together so I don't lose the nut or the bolt. We'll start trying to get the smallest plugs out first. It's a small one. It's a small one. There's another small one. go up in size. There's one I can see over here. Once you've got the small ones out, there'll be more space to get the bigger ones out. And remember, when we put it back, we want to do the exact opposite. Big ones first. There we go. To get the speedo out of here, the fuel gauge out of here, what we need to do is undo that screw, squeeze those together, those clips, squeeze those clips together, and just push it out. Having a look at our front mudguard here, you have a nice big crack, which I'll fix. You can see the difference between the faded paint and the original paint over here. We'll try to get it to look as good as that. Some parts of this bike have got really badly rusted. Come on, focus. Probably not the best metal to use in a salt environment. We're going to have a quick look at fixing the front mudguard of the scooter. In order to do that, I've got myself a off-it stapler gun. The way it works is you put the staples in there, they get hot, push them into the mudguard or the bumper, whatever you're fixing. That'll melt in place, keep it in place, and you just need to then cover it up with a bit of filler and respray. It comes with a range of nails. Each one has its own purpose. It comes with a few pictures here to show you which ones to be using. We're going to be using the wiggly ones to fix the front mudguard. Those ones over there. Here's the mudguard we're going to be repairing. What I need to do is just get the little tiny gap sealed or held together. And as I'm on my own at the moment, the best way I can see to do that would be to use a little bit of tape down the bottom here. So let's take the tape, put it on here, squeeze the parts together. That should hold it. So to use our gun, all we need to do is take the piece that I'm going to use, stick it in there, pull the trigger until it gets hot, and then put that in place over there. I'm going to put one right at the top just to stop it further cracking, although it shouldn't once I fix the rest of this crack anyway. Once we've done that, we need to get rid of these little pieces. They said that they should just snap off, but they're not, so I'm going to cut them off. we'll need to take a grinder and grind that flat now. Once we've cleaned that up with an angle grinder, we'll get a bit of sandpaper and just give it a bit of a smoother. Once that's clean, I'm going to mix up some filler, and you can put a bit of body filler in there. We're only going to need a tiny bit of filler, so I've mixed up here. This is about a matchbox to a pea. So we need to make sure we get that well mixed in now. It looks like it's a nice consistent colour. Right. We just need to thicken this up and fill up the holes. Okay, all the holes are basically filled in now. Get it pushed down as best as I can. What we'll do now is start filling up the gaps. Once that's hardened, you can sand it. I'm going to use a 320 grit, but I think it's going to be too smooth. Once you've got that sanded down, I'm going to mix up some more of this and fill in any gaps and holes that I can see. I'll let that harden and we'll sand it back and see how it looks. Keep filling and sanding now, using less filler and smoother paper after each round until we've got the exact shape that we need. Once you're happy that the surface is really nice and smooth, because we've got bare plastic, we can apply a plastic primer. That's what I'm using over here. I'm just going to put that on gently, make sure you don't get any runs, and then we'll do a second coat on top of that. I've given the can a good shake. Here the nozzle by squirting upside down. Now we'll leave that to dry. I'll give it 24 hours and carry on tomorrow. Now that we've done
the plastic primer. Spray a grey primer on top of that. That a little while to dry off, and we might do a second coat. A good 10 minutes have passed and we'll put on the second coat quick. Remember to give the can a quick shake. I want it on quite thick because I'm going to give it a light sanding just to make it nice and smooth. We'll leave that to dry for 24 hours and give it a bit of a sanding and then put the top coat on. Now that the paint is dried, we'll give it a quick sanding. I'm using an 800 grit sandpaper. This is also going to need a good cleaning, so I'm going to find myself a paintbrush. I'm using 800 grit paper. You can see that our light sanding is getting rid of our overspray quite easily. We have to be careful when we get to the grey primer part, make sure that we're not taking off too much of it. Be especially careful on the edges because they go very quickly, and we'll end up taking all the paint off, which I really don't want to do. I want to just roughen the surface. That should do it. A bit of a rinse. And then let it dry. I didn't notice this before, but while I was sanding this down so I can spray it, I found a bit of a mark there which I can fix, but there's a nice big scratch here and there's a nice big scratch there. I'm going to put a little bit of filler on that quickly. I've mixed up a really tiny little bit of filler and we'll just fill these in quickly. wait for those to dry, and then we can give them a little bit of a sanding, grey undercoat, and then we'll do the main coat. Looking forward to that. I have this here all ready to paint. I need to give it a good wipe down. This is alcohol. I had this mixed up for us. It's Suzuki Motorcycles Candy Sonoma Red, or code 293 YHL, which you can see at the bottom of the bottle here. I need to give that a really good shake first. So we've done the first coat, and we've given it about 10-15 minutes to dry. I'm going to give it a second coat, and a third coat, and possibly a fourth coat, and then we'll give it 24 hours to dry and put on a clear 2K coat on top of that. Don't forget to rattle your can before each time for about 2 minutes. You also see I'm wearing protection so that I don't breathe in the fumes. While we're waiting for those to dry, I'll take this and go and get it sanded down. This is what the finished product looks like so far. I've done 4 coats of paint on here. It's looking really good. It's ready for its clear coat. What I need to do now is remove the stickers that I put over this so that we didn't have to put new decals on. You can also see why we need to clean this before we spray. You can see the fingerprints, the oil coming off my fingers. It's got slightly rough edges, so what I'll do is I'll give that a light sanding. Time for the clear coat. Prepare it. Give it a bit of a wipe down so that we can get any grease off. Final coat, give it a clear coat. Make sure you got your mask on, and let's go. Give it a light coat to start, and then we'll give it another coat in about 10 minutes. So having stripped this bike down, taking a closer look at the frame, we have an issue which we're going to need to have a look at. We're moving closer to some of the wells. See a good dose of rust. Come to the frame itself. Rust. We'll have to clean this up. Joins. Rust flaking over there. Let's have a look and see how we're going to fix this rust.
cleaning up the rust, we can start off using a wire brush. We're going to carry on as much as we can, and then I've got two choices. I can either use a grinding disc and get rid of the rust altogether down to bare metal and then respray a primer, or then I can try and put a rust converter on there to convert what tiny little bit of rust there may still be there and paint over that. First we're going to give it a bit of a go over with the brush. We're going to keep going. It's important to not assume, for instance up here the paint looks good but there could be rust underneath that paint, so I'm going to go over everything, and any paint that's flaky will be coming off. But here you can see I'm basically taking the whole lot off. Give it a good clean up and then give it a bit of a respray. Once we're happy that we've got the bike cleaned of all loose rust, we're going to use this rust converter. We just paint it on with the paintbrush, and hopefully that will keep it from re-rusting. You can see once it's on, it's turning black. That's a good sign. We're going to do a second coat. We'll give 24 hours to dry, and then we'll spray a primer on top of that. Well, so far so good. We've done all the black part of the frame here. To clean the rust off this part, I'm going to use a sanding disc, and we'll do it like this. We're now going to put an undercoat onto the frame. So once we finish the frame, we can go ahead and start putting it together. All the rust's been treated.
One of the final things that we need to do before putting the bike together is to see if we can get the sunburn from the mud guards, the plastic. And the way we're going to do that is by using a heat gun. Very carefully heat it to just the right temperature when it changes color. If we go too hot, we could warp the material. We could probably warp the material anyway, but we have to just be very careful. I've got my gun set up to 300 degrees. To get a consistent look and feel on it, you need to heat it to the point where you can see the top surface of the plastic actually melting. It goes all shiny like it's water. You need to stop just as soon as it starts doing that. Make sure it's all blended in and then stop. This is the final product. I've taken that off and that off, done the whole back bumper, and then I've taken a good quality polish, put plenty on so that it gets absorbed, giving it a good rub down, and then a bit of a shiner. This is what we've left with. Once the undercoat's had enough time to dry, we can go ahead and do an overcoat of black. We'll give that some time to dry, put a second coat on, and then I'm going to put the clear coat on top of that. We've let the paint dry. We can now go ahead and put on our clear coat, 2K clear coat, which should then protect the paint. We've given the front forks a bit of a spray. I'm going to give it a light sanding and then a clear coat. jobs don't always go to plan. Even though I put the undercoat on and didn't touch it at all, somehow this has gone like this. So we'll have to resand and start that one again. You can see, even though I've done the same everywhere else, the paint's pretty good everywhere else. After we've finished putting the black on, you put a clear coat on. This is what it comes out like. Once everything's resprayed, you can start taking everything off it and put it back together. Full gauge. Get that polished up. Replacing the headlight unit. It's a fuel gauge that's gone back in. And there's a screw in here that we need to tighten in order to do that. I'm then going to put this screw in place and then get all the nuts and bolts. There's your nuts and bolts that need to go in there. That goes on the inside, that's on the outside. One on that side and one on the other side. It'll tighten up with an Allen key. I won't tweak it up too much at the moment because we'll need to actually have the headlight on to line it up properly later on. Just tweak it up enough to hold it still. I've noticed while putting this together, you can see the top part of this is very hazy compared to the bottom, which is nice and clear. In order to fix that, what we'll do is we're going to take 1500 grit paper, sandpaper. We'll give this a light sanding and then a polish up. Let me take you through that. I'm going to start off with an 800 waterproof paper. You can see the yellow coming up in the water here. You want to keep going. Use plenty of water until we can see the yellow's gone. It's looking pretty good. Obviously it's cloudy, should be scratching the surface. Once we've done that, you can see there it's nice and clear. There it's all hazy. We're going to do a finer sandpaper, 1500 on top of that, and then we'll polish it up with an electric drill and a buffing pad. So we're giving that a good go over. We'll dry it and get a rubbing compound which we'll use with the drill. See if we can get it clear. It's starting to become clear now. What we're going to use now is that in order to give it a first polish, and then we'll get a finer one, which is that one, which we will use as a final polish. Make sure we get any coarse material off here, because that will get in the brush, and then just scratch it, and sponge, and then just scratch it. It's pretty good. I see a bit of a part there that needs to be done. So if you look at it now, the top is as good as the bottom, and what we'll do is we'll still give it a finer polish. Let's polish it up and see what we got. There, it's beautiful. So you can see there, we had a hazy top. Now, it's the same all the way around. All these wires need to be fed up back through into here. Once we've got all of those in there, we can start clenching them up. So we just need to match up colours basically. Remember, we're going to have a globe sitting in here, so we want to push the stuff to the back out the way. There's one plug that is not matched up at the moment, because obviously that's going to go into the headlight. Should now be able to put the headlight on. the right way around. Starting at the bottom there. They're nice and tight. That. 2 screws in the bottom. And it comes together. Beautiful, isn't it? Look at that. Put the screw in, but we'll just loosely tighten it. The one on the top here. Again, for now, I'll just loosely tighten it. Once you've got that on, it's probably safe to tighten this one up. And this one. Starting to look a lot better than it used to. Next thing to replace is this panel. Before we get too excited, we want to get the wires up through there. And then finally, last piece to our puzzle. These have got little clips in them, so we just need to get that situated right. And then clip the clip in. That. The final part is to replace the indicators and the back tail light. So the biggest blow goes into there. To get the indicators back on now, what we need to do is make sure it's at that angle, get the bottom pieces over the number plate, and then gently put it onto there. Now we need to get this back and over that. Stretch that open. Drop that down. Now we can put all the screws in. Just a few more screws. I'm hoping this will come up on the video and show you exactly how we're busy cleaning this with paint thinners. There's the done part. Go around here and you can start to see the link between the done part and the dirty part still. Here's an area with a bit more light on it. That part I've done. And as we come down here, you can see around about here, that part I haven't done. I'll try and get closer. So there's a join between what I haven't done and what I have cleaned. And one of the final parts of putting the bike together is putting the front wheel back on. So we will need to start putting the brake connectors and the speeder connectors back on. We'll put the wheel back on. What we needed to do here was pull this rubber down. The wire is here, the wire fits through this gap over here. We then need to pull this part down into that hole so that it's resting nicely on here. Pull the rubber cap back up and over the bottom of this so that it sits up there like that. I've also put the speedo cable back in and the screw that holds the speedo cable in place. Make sure that the cable is pushed all the way in. It has a little bit of a groove in it, which is where the screw will be fitting. You want to make sure that that is all the way in. The screw goes into the right place. One of our final jobs, having resprayed this wheel, is to put it back on. Let's have a look how to do that. There's a key on here. That's got to go into that slot over there. And this is going to be sitting at an angle like that. Put it into there and then get it in place. So we get that one on over there. Key in the right place, facing the right way, right things up nice. On this side here, we've got to get this onto there. I'll get it until it's just about to come through, and then I'll line it up. Push it the rest of the way through, and then we can do it up. That's a 12 on the one side and a 14 on the nut side. Once we have the wheel on, we obviously need to start tightening these so that they work. At the moment this is very loose. So front brake doing nothing at the moment. Tighten this. And keep testing. Front brake's working, but only just. That's working well now. I'm happy where it is.
So replacing the battery is really easy. I'm going to throw it into here. Make sure that we get the positive and the negative the right way around, and it looks like the positive should be there, the negative's up that end over there. It looks like we're probably in the right position at the moment. I'm not going to tighten those up yet. I need to be able to sit this down and bend these to where they need to be. Before we put this on, we're just going to double check. Negative should go to ground. The red one's usually positive. Positive says on the battery here. So we can plug this in. Protection cover, protective cover on there. We'll drop it into place. Like that. And then we'll squash it down here. Once I've given the engine a start and made sure everything's working, we'll put the cover over the battery. We can do a quick test. Switch the mic on. All good. And now the screws at the front, and then we're all finished. We've got the two on this side and the two on the other side. We can start putting all the final covers back. So let's start with the front one. Push the new globe in. Put it back in. Fuel for the right position. And twist it until it stops. After that, we want to replace the front cover. That just clips on. And then we've got 3 screws which hold it in place. To put the seat back, we need to put the carrier on first. Finally, we've got the spark plug cover and the foot cover. That's it. Finally, we have it all back together. Nice and clean and shiny. I do have one job left. Tonight, we need to put it out on the street or out on the driveway and align the headlight so that it's not pointing up towards the sky. But there it's all nice and shiny, all nice and painted, looking really good. Quite different to what we started off with. That's all had a really good clean.
see if it'll start. Yay, it's all back together and we've given it a final polish up. This is what it looks like. Remember fixing the mudguard there? But you can't see any signs of it having been fixed. It's all had a good polish. Talk about mirror finish, you can see me in the fairing there. Remembering what we've started with, we have a really good looking bike now. It's been cleaned, serviced, resprayed, we've fixed globes, fixed the front mudguard. It's all nice and shiny. Another thing that we fixed was the yellowing at the top of the headlight. You can't see the difference now between the lower half and the top half. It's totally clear. Taking a look at the front mudguard, there's no signs of our fix. Hey, if you've enjoyed watching these videos, how about giving us a thumbs up on the video? And if you want to see more videos like this, how about subscribing to my channel? It would be much appreciated. Hope you have a good day. Thanks, bye.